Hey guys, Mr. Key here, and this is the Huawei Nova 3i. So the first thing I did was to load my face and fingerprint for security. And guys, the face unlock was surprisingly fast, even faster than some phones I've used in the past. No shade. Now, one thing I love though is the design. I got the pearl white color variant, which doesn't attract fingerprint stains, but because it is white, you might have to put a case on it. Anyways, based on first impressions, this looks like every other smartphone out there, especially with the notch. But I like the sleek and premium vibe I got from the Nova 3i. I mean, this uses a metallic frame along with a 2.5D glass for the front and the back, which of course makes it super fragile, so extra protection, guys. Now, the Nova 3i is not a small phone. I mean, it comes in at 6.3 inch, but I still like how light it feels in the hand, which is no surprise given its slim body. Another thing that would not come as a surprise is the notch, and this houses the earpiece, the notification sensor, as well as the dual AI cameras, a 24MP main camera and a 2MP portrait camera. But you know, unlike most smartphones with a notch, Huawei has actually added a way to hide the notch in the settings. Now guys, before you get overly excited about this, I'd have you know that even when enabled, the notch is still visible when you pull down the notification bar.
Surprise! I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me.
So underneath the notch is the Full HD Plus display. And based on first impression, it is quite good to look at. The colors are definitely above average. Huawei has also added an option to reduce the resolution to HD Plus to save battery. Now, still on the design, the Nova 3i is not bezel-less, as you can tell by the side bezels and the chin. And honestly, I don't think having a chin is the perfect combination for a phone that comes with a notch. But the chin on the Nova 3i is quite small, so I'd let this one slide. But moving away from all of that, the Nova 3i uses a hybrid SIM card slot, which is not a deal breaker because we have enough storage to play with. About 128 gig of storage. And guys, that is a lot, especially when you consider this is priced at 105,000, slightly below the Nokia 7 Plus. Now, still on the placement, we have the volume rocker and power buttons, and beneath there is the earphone jack, the speaker grills, and unfortunately a micro USB port. So switching to the back real quick, we get to see the protruding dual AI cameras. And no guys, the secondary camera is not an optical zoom or a wide angle sensor. It is just a depth sensor, so you can get better portrait shots. Now, the next thing I did was to install and use some of my applications. So Twitter, Instagram, PUBG, things like that. And it was a breeze because this uses Huawei's mid-range Kirin 710 processor that is paired with 4 gigs of RAM. And yeah guys, I'll be covering the performance fully in my review. But away from that, the first thing you will notice, especially if you're using a Huawei device for the first time, is the skin. Now, this is not stock Android. As a matter of fact, the only thing that looks stock Android-ish is the message application. So if you were expecting the old stock Android experience, then this is not for you. But the Nova 3i uses Android 8.1 along with their own skin, the EMUI 8.2, which comes preloaded with a couple of applications. But on the bright side, you get a handful of customizations, like the ability to change the navigation buttons. You also have the option to adjust the color mode, Then there's the dual 4G, which I love, as well as other cool features that I'll cover in my full review. I was also able to get patch updates, which is a telltale sign that this might get OTA updates in the future. Now, as for the battery, we get 3340 mAh battery, and so far I can't really give you a clear indication yet because I started using this phone straight out of the box. But I can tell you that in the couple of hours that I've used it, it has served me well. Well guys, I'll give you an accurate representation of the battery life in my full review. The last thing I want to quickly talk about is the camera. And guys, I am quite impressed with the rear camera, especially because the HDR performance has been quite strong in its implementation. We also get features like slow-mo, there's the portrait modes, and the pro mode, which I personally love, of course, to name a few. Now, I noticed that selfies taken with the front camera is a bit soft, but more on this in my full review. I also did a video test, and unfortunately, we don't have an image stabilization on the Nova 3i. But I love how punchy the colors look, especially when compared to the Nokia 7 Plus. Now, still on the cameras, there were a couple of iPhone X features. For example, you get 3D lighting and QR emoji, which is surprisingly accurate when it comes to recognizing my eye and head movements. And yes, there's the AI camera, which automatically detects a scene to improve its colors. However, in my opinion, I think it just makes the picture a lot more saturated than usual. So that is just my initial thoughts after a few hours with the device, and I will update you as time goes on. But let me know what you think about the Nova 3i. If you were to ask me, when you start comparing the Nova 3i to other phones in the same price range, you might notice that this comes up as a great backend. So you get bigger screen, better performance, premium body, that large storage, and other features. But of course, it is not perfect. I mean, there's no USB Type-C, no stock Android experience, and no image stabilization. But like I said, let me know what you think. And guys, the first 50 people to pre-order the Nova 3i wins 10,000 Naira voucher from Jumia and 10,000 Naira ShopRite voucher from Slot. So that is that. And yeah guys, I'll see you in my next video. Take care.